Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about let her go and level up. Okay, so this is really important for those people out there, those guys out there that have, been through a horrible breakup and, you realize now that it's time to let her go, right? Which can be very difficult, can be very difficult to get to that stage. And if you have got to that stage, then congratulations, because it does take a lot of inner work to be able to get to that place where you actually feel, what, yeah, I'm better off, right? I'm better off without her. But some of you may still be there that are still maybe hoping that maybe one day she'll come back, or maybe one day things will get resolved and things like that. So the best thing to do is to let her go, okay? Especially if you know deep down that she's not coming back. Like, let's say you haven't heard from her in months or years, it's time to let her go, right? Especially as well, if you already know that she's moved on, like perhaps she's now already married or she's in a new relationship. Now, unless it's a rebound and not something that you got into really soon, then if you've got to that place where, let's say she's been in a relationship for a few months and, it wasn't a rebound or it wasn't very quick, then, you really do need to start letting her go if she is moving on with her life, right? And if she's moving on with her life, then you definitely need to do the same, okay? So ultimately what you need to be doing then, and this really does help, it really does help, is if you focus on yourself and improving your life. So what does focusing on yourself mean, right? What that means is that you should be focusing on things that ultimately you would like to be in the future, okay? Because perhaps you're not happy with your life, perhaps you're not happy with your current circumstances, perhaps you're not happy with your job, or just your life path in general. So figure out basically how you would ultimately like to be living, right? Without her. Don't have her in the picture whatsoever, okay? So what would you ideally like your life to look like, right? And thinking about it in all areas, right? So think about it in terms of your health and fitness, your finances, where you're living, the kind of how do you live your day from morning till night, right? How would you ultimately like your life to be, okay? And then you figure out some action steps that you can do, like physical things that you can do every single day to get you there. So perhaps you want to start your own business. So one protocol is that, okay, I need to figure out my brand, or I need to figure out, how to get a website going, or something like that. Or perhaps I need to start a social media page, start marketing my products or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Things like that. Or perhaps you're trying to get into health and fitness and you want a better body. So you're like, okay, well, I need to lift weights, or I need to do some cardio every week, or I need to focus on what I'm eating, make sure I'm eating the right things. So you got to figure out what you need to do to get you to that place. What are the action steps that you need to take to get you to that place, right? And what's going to be amazing is that if when you reach that place, right, because it may not take the time that you expect it to. A lot of people think that they can get success overnight, which rarely happens, right? There's a quote that I like that says, it took me 10 years to be an overnight success, right? So some of these things are going to take some time, right? To get you to where you want to be in the future is going to take some time. But I promise you that if you start doing these things and you start taking action on these things, you're going to start feeling so much better about yourself. It's going to give you such high self-esteem when you start seeing what you want materialize, right? Start seeing that dream life materialize, and it's just gonna feel amazing, basically, right? Because what's important to know is that even though it may take a while to get there, in a couple of years' time, you're still going to be way better off than all the other people around you that are probably not doing this kind of thing. They're not trying to improve their lives. They're not trying to push forward and get better, right? So what's really cool is that it doesn't really matter when you reach your destination. It doesn't matter when you achieve that dream life for yourself. Right? It doesn't matter when that happens. What is important is how it changes you along the way and how it improves you and makes you so much more mentally stronger, physically stronger as well if you're exercising and taking care of your body. Everything just improves. Everything improves. And that includes your love life too. You may be able to reattract that person back into your life. That woman, she may come back into your life, but she also may not, and you may actually find someone better. Okay, because that's the good news here, right? That's the good news. You'll either get the other person back or you'll find someone better. Those are the two options, right? Now, I always think it's good to find someone better, someone who's a complete improvement over your ex, right? Because if you find someone who is better looking, who is nicer to you, who enjoys the same things as you get along better, you're going to really forget about this girl. That's one of the best ways to actually let go of someone who you once had a huge emotional connection to, is to find someone just completely better, right? Because if you're with someone who's just 100% better than your ex, you're going to feel amazing and you're going to forget about them pretty sharpish, okay? Now, of course, though, you do need to take time to heal and to get over the old relationship, because you don't want to be dragging old wounds and old habits into a new relationship. You don't want to be doing that kind of thing, because let's say, for example, you and your ex had a trait of, arguing or giving it, let's say giving each other the silent treatment, right? You had a habit of giving each other the silent treatment when you were angry at each other, right? Now, if you haven't healed from that, if you haven't learnt from that, you're going to behave exactly the same way with a new person who perhaps doesn't like to do that kind of thing, who perhaps is really going to feel really put off by you if you start doing that. So you have to heal these old wounds and these old habits that perhaps weren't very healthy, like ignoring your partner when you get angry with them, or even maybe doing the opposite of that and just completely losing your mind, basically getting so angry when you're angry at your partner. So it's a good idea to heal from those kinds of things, figure out basically what you did right in the relationship, in the old relationship, and what you did wrong, and what you would change, and what you would improve, and how you would improve yourself. Because you can't really change your ex, you can't change what they did, right? Because they might have been 95% to blame for everything, right? They might have been almost all to blame for everything, but there's still that part of you that you probably know that you could have handled things better in that circumstance, in that situation, right? So you need to figure out what those things are so you can heal from it, right? So you don't drag those old things into a new relationship, because maybe your ex could take some of those old things, but the new person might not be able to, and you don't want to lose someone who is amazing, right? Because you really don't want to do that, because that's gonna make you feel even more hurt, perhaps, than losing your ex. When you find someone who's amazing, but you mess things up because you brought all these old habits back into this new relationship, right? So if you want to heal from some of these things, like intellectually, and get better at these things, then I highly recommend that you go and check out my recommended books in the description of this video. You'll be able to find them in the link, and they'll be able to really, really help you with those kinds of situations, okay? So the last thing that I kind of want to talk to you about as well is do anything. Just do anything to raise your self-esteem. Because if you've gone through a breakup, right, especially if you were dumped, right? Because when you get dumped, it feels awful, right? You feel awful about yourself. You feel unlovable. You feel unattractive. You feel just terrible, right? It's a really horrible feeling to be dumped by someone, okay? So what you want to do is you want to do anything basically that raises your self-esteem. What makes you feel good and makes you feel empowered, right? One of the things for me is exercise. Anytime I exercise, even if it's just for 20 minutes, I feel really good afterwards, and it raises my self-esteem, right? I don't know what that could be for you, but what you want to do is you want to do things that are raising your self-esteem, not things that you're going to regret. Because sometimes things like instant gratification feel good in the moment, like playing video games, or eating junk food, or drinking too much, right? These can feel good and they can give you kind of a bit of a courage, but that dopamine hit. But they're actually not good for you, right? They're actually, most of the time, you're probably going to be like, oh, I really wish I hadn't done that. I really wish I hadn't spent the whole weekend playing video games and eating pizza. I really wish I'd worked on that side business. I really wish I'd gone to the gym, things like that. So if you're thinking like that, then those are the things that you need to eliminate from your life, or at least do less of, and focus more on the things that raise your self-esteem and make you feel confident about yourself, okay? Because if you've got regret of the actions you've done, then you know that those are actions you should not be repeating, okay? There's a quote that I like by Viktor Frankl, which says, When a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. So if you find that you are distracting yourself with pleasure a lot, then you're avoiding your life, you need to fix that, and you need to do things that are empowering for you, that raise your self-esteem, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. And if there's anything you'd like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.